Welcome to this edition of the Purity Post, a short video blog to help you move forward in your understanding and application of sexuality from a biblical perspective. Last post was part 3 in a 4-part series on the genesis of sexuality, taking a look back at the very beginning of human life, where God designed sexuality. Part 1 of the series looked at design and why it matters to our sexuality. Part 2 explored need, the fact that something was missing in the first man, Adam, when he existed alone. We also saw how God graciously met that need by forming a woman out of Adam's rib. That catches us up to this part of the series, where we will look at marriage, and the best place to start is with the first marriage, conducted by God Himself with Adam and Eve. We can take a peek at this ceremony in the Bible, in Genesis chapter 2, verses 22 through 24. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib He had taken out of the man, and brought her to the man. The man said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man. For this reason a man will leave his father and mother, and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh." What an occasion, right? Here Adam wakes up from his surgery and his eyes start to focus, and God is bringing this other creature toward him. Now keep in mind that before Adam was conked out by God for the whole rib turn to woman surgery thing, all of nature's animals had been marched before him, and he got to pick their names. And remember, none of those animals matched him. They all had their own pairings. None were like him. So Adam starts waking up and shazam! A match literally made in heaven, or at least by the maker of heaven. Instantly, Adam knew this was the gal for him. How do we know this? By what his response was to receiving her from God. He said, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh." He's saying she looks like me, even though she's not like me, and we are a compatible fit, structurally and visually. A former pastor of mine used to comment on this passage as it's written in the Hebrew, commenting on the subtle difference between the word for man and woman. The word man in Hebrew is ish, and the word woman is isha. He would joke that maybe when Adam saw this creature that looked similar to him, all he could say was isha. And hasn't that been the response of every man since at the sight of a naked woman? And rightfully so, because that's how God designed us to see a woman, as a captivating beauty. I said this post was about marriage, and you may be wondering how this fits in with the story so far. Well, some of it has to do with what God did in this exchange. It was God who made the woman as a specific remedy to man's aloneness problem. Remember, God said it was not good for man to be alone, so He made Eve, and only one Eve. God didn't make 100 women and then haul them all before Adam and say, "Pick one," or say, "You can have them all." No, God made one woman to remedy Adam's aloneness. Also, after God made the solution, He brought her to the man. God gave her away to Adam, setting the example for how fathers are to give away their daughter to their husband. This, by the way, is part of where that tradition originates in Christian marriages. One final note to make on where marriage fits into this ceremony with Adam and Eve is what is written after Adam's little speech. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and they will become one flesh. For this reason. For what reason? That God made a compatible helper for man in woman. That's the reason a man will leave the dependency upon his father and mother and unite with his wife. God supplied man with a lifelong partner to help him with work, with struggles, with children, with goals, with everything. And in that monogamous union of man and woman, a bond of oneness is formed, one that's meant for life. Marriage sets a beautiful context for the sexuality God designed in human beings. Man alone, though fully sexual, was not complete. He needed a compatible helper, but not someone just to tag along and clean up his messes. No, man needed someone like him, a perfect fit, to live in such closeness to him that the only clear way to depict the union is oneness. Two becoming one flesh. That's marriage. And that's where God declares sex very good. Thanks for watching this edition of the Purity Post. If you'd like more resources, please visit BeBroken.com or call our toll-free number at 1-800-49-PURITY. Keep pressing on.